Hey everyone, and welcome back to Gib TV. Today I wanted to share a little story about my recent golf adventures in Florida. Now, let me tell you, playing golf there is no walk in the park. It's a sweaty, buggy, gator-filled obstacle course with a bunch of swamps everywhere. And if you're like me, you're bound to be getting sunburned and experiencing things you've never experienced before. Now, these are just my personal takes. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on different experiences that you've had in Florida. For you Florida golfers out there, what do you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, let's dig right into it. Why golf is so difficult in Florida. But I do want to mention it is still extremely fun and the game we all love. Okay, let's start off with the weather. If you are not from Florida, and you are from a different state or even from Europe or wherever, you might not be used to a climate like the climate in Florida. I like to define it as almost a sauna-like experience where as soon as you jump into a first couple of holes, you're already sweating. You might even be sunburnt by then. It's just a hot, warm experience for most of the year. Now, obviously, they have cooler months. I happened to catch a nice cool day where I was able to walk, but most times you're going to find yourself carting around, trying to park in all the shade and find the shade, wherever you can on the course. And yeah, it's nice lather of sunscreen, but be prepared. It's going to sweat off very quickly. And by hole 5 or 6, you already need to reapply. So, yeah, you're going to get wet. It's like a sauna. You're going to be drenched in sweat and sunscreen, and it's quite the experience. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the greens next. And the greens in Florida run very fast. And if you do a little bump and run or chip on, be prepared for your ball to take a significant bounce off the sand. There's a lot of fine sand on those greens, and there's just sand everywhere. And so, all those little pieces of rock are just going to bounce your ball. And yeah, be prepared for your ball to bounce off the green and into a bunk or into a swamp. Speaking of swamps, I want to talk about the water hazards that are hidden kind of everywhere. Whether the course was designed to have these little divots with water in them or not, a lot of the times there will be pockets of little ponds and water hazards everywhere. Be prepared. You got to hit a lot of perfect shots in order to avoid some of these water hazards. These water hazards, you might end up wrestling an alligator if you hit it too close. So you really got to keep your distance. And you're going to lose some balls. So be prepared to take a drop. And just, it's a tough pill to swallow, but just keep moving, and you're going to hit it into some water. You're in Florida. Next, I wanted to talk about the crabgrass. So that's the biggest ball trap of all time. Florida has infamous crabgrass everywhere. It's just the nature of a swamp and the grass that grows. It's going to be thick. It's going to be stubborn. It's going to hold everything up. I have a great clip here that I'll go over. Okay, so I've got this clip in slow-mo of me in Florida. I'm going to pause it right here. You can see that my club face is not even visible, and the ball is not visible either. Now, from this position, I had hit the green and it had bounced over, like I just explained, lots of that sand pushing the ball, a lot further than you anticipate. And it ended up falling into this super thick off the cart path area, but you can see it still being maintained by the groundskeepers. I was any further, it might have even lied up on that really rough grass to the left, but yeah, you can't even see my ball. It's very deep. It was a little deceptive because it was thinned out in certain areas, and then obviously there is a little bit of a manhole kind of sewer. Again, those pockets of water are literally just everywhere, so the consistency is very difficult to adjust to. And yeah, so I'll play the clip here. As you can see, my swing is fairly consistent. I'm still working on my swing, and I hit these pretty routinely, but as you can see, I've got a big chunk of grass on the back end of my club. I immediately realized that I had launched it off and back over the green into another bunk on the other side. And yeah, the grass here, the patch, that thing, looks like a crab flying through the air, quite frankly. And it's just all tangled up and not how you would traditionally, chip out of some rough, at least from what I'm used to. But yeah, the crabgrass, very, very difficult in Florida, and something you will need to practice out of. If you're a Floridian resident, you probably grew up with it. Might not be a big problem for you. From my experience, it was very difficult, and I've heard lots of others kind of agree that that Florida grass is very difficult. It's tough. The next part I wanted to talk about, this might just be me, nitpicky. I got British blood, and I get bit a lot by bugs. I encountered some no-see-ums when I was close to the beach, so that wasn't on the golf course, but on the golf course, there were a couple mosquitoes, little gnats that kind of fly around. Wasn't too bad, but depending on the club you're at, you might have more swarm action than others. But ultimately, getting those bug bites every time I go to Florida, it seems I'm getting, up to 7 or 8 bug bites at a minimum. So I'm not sure if those are coming from directly on the course or where those are coming from, but hopefully not the hotel room or the place I'm staying at, because then we got bigger issues. But you are going to get bit when you're in Florida, so be prepared for that. Maybe bring some bug spray, something light. They're not too crazy bad there, but certain parts and pockets, definitely pretty brutal. I wanted to mention the heat once again, because it was just so hot. You'll find yourself drenched. I got very uncomfortable on the back nine because we had a little rain shower come through, which isn't super common, but they do get those rain showers that come through. Some months, are better than others. But yeah, we got absolutely soaked. I was still sweating through it all. It's just a humid shower, and yeah, my clubs, everything was soaked. So maybe bring a raincoat, and just be prepared for, hot conditions, steamy, sticky. Yeah, swampy. Those are the words. The second to last thing I wanted to mention here are the divots. I notice a lot of the times if I found myself on the fairway, I would still land my ball short on the following chip up, even on a nice lie. So this plays back into kind of the grass a little bit, but yeah, the divots I would leave on the fairway and back rough and whatnot. It always seemed to leave my ball either a little too far or a little too short. When I was on the fairway, my pitching wedge, which I usually hit about 130, I noticed it was going about 110 to 120. I was hitting them a little short, just because the ground is a little bit maybe firmer on those fairways. Again, you're not taking those nice clean divots that you see in other parts of the world and other states, but just very difficult playing off the fairway and getting adjusted to the grounds. Now, I wanted to mention here at the very end of the video that, this is still a very fun experience. And, you might be asking, oh, well, why would you want to golf in those conditions? Well, it's still so much fun in the sun. It's still such a cool happening place. You got to avoid the hazards, the heat, the sweat, the wildlife, the gators, and just have fun with it. That's all I have to say for the end of this video, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think. That's my take on Florida golf and why it's so difficult. If you've played there, let us know your stories. did you beat the heat, the gators, or the crabgrass? Which one was the most difficult for you? Thank you for tuning in to Gib TV, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.